Do you wonder why our government is full of politicians rather than statesmen? Then stay tuned right now for the Kelli Ward Connection. She's bold. She's fresh. She's fearless. Here now, your host of the Kelli Ward Connection, Dr. Kelli Ward.
I got my high heels on, my boxing gloves. I can knock you out with a 1-2 punch. I'm perfume sweet and whiskey strong. I damn sure ain't no underdog. I might fall down, but I get back up. I shine bright when the going's tough. You say I can't, well darling, watch me. You can't stop me 'cause I fight like a girl.
Oh yeah, I am back. Yes, I am, and I do fight like a girl. Welcome back to the Kelli Ward Connection. I am Dr. Kelli Ward, your connection to bold, fresh, fearless political talk. Each and every week here on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX at 3 p.m., we are making connections, connecting the political dots, connecting you with what's important. Yes, you are important, so please join in on the conversation by calling in now, 602-277-KFNX. That's 602-277-5369. Or you can even call in toll-free from anywhere, 866-536-1100. 866-536-1100. You can reach us online. We have a new Twitter, at Kelli Connect, Kelli with an I. Don't forget, Kelli with an I, Kelli Connect on Twitter. You can reach me directly, Kelli Ward AZ, or Facebook, Kelli Ward for Arizona. Listen up, speak out, make a difference. We have got a huge show today. Yes, huge. So much to discuss. Wow. Now, I do have to mention just a little bit. I want to talk about 2 days ago, there was a Senate debate for the U.S. Senate right here in Arizona, October 10th. And I'm not sure how many of you tuned in to PBS to see John McCain square off against Ann Kirkpatrick. I know I did. I know our resident millennial, Wes Alexander, did.
There's brain damage.
So, Wes, I want to know, what did you think? Anything memorable there?
Yeah, there was some. Of course, McCain takes his talking points. Of course, he attacked the Obama administration and several different policies, but in office he doesn't seem to attack them at all.
Yeah,
and it's very sad because you're looking at both sides. Both sides are establishment, and it kind of feels like it doesn't matter who you vote for.
Right. I thought one of the most telling parts was when Ann Kirkpatrick actually had the nerve to ask John McCain a question. At least that's what I thought was going through his head. He looked so angry and upset and perturbed that she would dare to look at him and ask him a question directly. I thought that was kind of telling about the entire dynamic there on the stage.
They're elitist. You see the same thing across the board.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it was an empty studio from what I could tell. I don't think there was an audience there. I think it was the two moderators and the two candidates.
They're both gonna have pretty low voter turnout.
I think so. Hey, and you did a little Twitter poll at Young Dems for Trump, at Young Dems for Trump. Check it out. Check out Wes's Twitter. He's got a lot of amazing things there. So you did it. How'd it go? I mean,
what happened was shout out to Cronkite News. They're awesome.
Yeah.
I saw they did a poll. They said, "Hey, who won the debate?" And I was like, "Hey, why don't I do a poll?" Because I said on the bottom, they said who won the debate. I said they both lost. And my post got more likes than the actual poll did.
Yeah.
And so then I did my own poll where John McCain, out of 908 votes, John McCain got 13% and Kirkpatrick at 22%. And you're probably wondering, where's the other percentage?
Yeah, where's the rest?
I put Kelli Ward in there because people know she wasn't even there, but I put Kelli Ward, and Kelli Ward took 65% for the win.
Well, wow. I would have loved to
She won on Twitter.
If
she live tweeted the debate.
I did. Go back to Kelli Ward AZ and look at that live tweet. I would have loved to have gotten on the debate stage with John McCain before the primary. However,
scorched earth.
Well, we all know he refused to debate me. There was one debate scheduled. He didn't show up. So I do have a caller. Hey, I'm going to go to Ron in Phoenix. Hi, Ron.
Dr. Kelli, listen, I worked really hard for you on Twitter.
I thank you for that.
And I want to set the record straight on a couple of things. And I would recommend you probably don't respond because I don't want to jeopardize any future runs that you might have. But I am a Vietnam vet. I was somewhat active in the POW-MIA stuff back after we got back, and I'll tell you what, a lot of people don't remember this very well, but McCain, the guys that I know that worked on that POW-MIA campaign don't have a very favorable view of him. He actually blocked a lot of things about getting our guys back out of Nam, out of North Vietnam.
There's a lot of information out there, that about that kind of thing, and a lot of veterans that I talked to when I was on the campaign trail expressed exactly what you're saying. Their disappointment in the willingness of Senator McCain and other people who have served in the military to utilize their veteran status for themselves rather than helping the veterans who are so in need. And that's one of the things that I thought was interesting in the debate, the Kirkpatrick-McCain debate, was that John McCain again said that there are no homeless veterans in Phoenix. And I can tell you, I've met with them myself, homeless veterans in Phoenix. And so I think that just shows a huge measure of being out of touch with reality.
Well, look, I'm an old guy. I've been around. I've watched a lot of stuff in my lifetime. And once again, you don't need to really respond on this, but as far as I can tell, the government has just been totally hijacked. And in order to get up into any higher elevation in politics in D.C., you got to be either blackmailed or paid off. And I think with McCain, it's blackmailed. Now, what about a write-in campaign for you? Is that a possibility?
I was going to bring that up in a bit, Ron. I thank you for calling. I thank you for your support. And we're going to address it. So I'm going to go on because we have a little bit of time. But
Sure.
Call back again next week. I'd love to talk some more.
Okay.
I think that many Arizona voters are at their wits' end with Senator McCain. His turning on Donald Trump may be his complete and total undoing. I do have to say, it was pretty cool last night to hear the Donald, Mr. Trump, say, he told Bill O'Reilly on Fox News that he made a big mistake in the primary by endorsing Senator McCain, who begged for his endorsement, and that there was a really good, strong woman in Arizona that maybe he should have endorsed. And I have to say that I think that I agree with that. I mean, Wes, do you think that it's going to harm McCain that he has reneged on his endorsement of Trump?
Well, here's the words for you. Donald Trump, the very foul-mouthed Senator John McCain begged for my support during his primary. I gave. He won, then dropped me over locker room remarks. He seems very what they'd call flip-floppity.
Yes, I actually used a pair of flip-flops in my campaign against him. I agree. And what about his declaration that he's going to write in Lindsey Graham?
Well, when you look at the youth, a lot of us now, granted, a lot of people don't really know what's going on, but the people that are somewhat in touch know that his endorsement or disendorsement of Trump, it's all show. It's fake. It's fake. It's old. It's like that old iPhone 4 that nobody wants to use anymore. It's people just don't want it. They don't like it.
It's actually
they know
a fax
it's a joke.
machine. No.
Yeah, fax machine. Yeah, that's exact. No, really.
Yeah.
It's just like a flashback to the past of everything that does not work in politics, and people know it. It's fake. It's fraud. It's lame.
Well, I have to say, I predicted he was going to go for Hillary Clinton, no matter whether he won
might.
or lost.
He's got some. You just wait. They're pretty good friends.
Whether he won or lost on August 30th, he was not going to stay with Trump. And I will tell you about the write-in campaign, because he mentioned he wanted to have a write-in campaign. And so, I think it clears the way for people. If they want to write me in, then they can. However, I do want everybody who is listening to understand that if you write me in, I cannot win. I cannot win because I am not an official write-in candidate. But it would contribute to a significant undervote for Senator McCain, and maybe send a message. Now, you have to realize that if the undervote is enough, he will lose, and we would get Ann Kirkpatrick as our first female senator from Arizona. But you have to ask yourself, is is she going to be as powerful a senator as Senator McCain? Is she going to stay there? She says she believes in term limits now. She said 12 years for Senate. That would make her 79 should she be able to win 2 terms. I would certainly hope that wouldn't be the case. But if he's willing to write in Lindsey Graham, I guess people in Arizona could write me in as well. So
I endorse Kelli Ward for Senate.
Thank you, Wes. Thank you, Wes. I love it. We are going to take a short break here in just a minute. I want you guys to remember the number. It's 602-277-5369. We have got Tom Rompel joining us just after this with a great book that he wrote called Citizen Warrior. Stay tuned. This is the Kelli Ward Connection. I'm Dr. Kelli Ward. We'll be right back.
I got my high heels on, my boxing gloves. I can knock you out with a 1-2 punch. I'm perfume sweet and whiskey strong. I damn sure ain't no underdog. I might fall down, but I get back up. I shine bright when the going's tough. You say I can't, well darling, watch me. You can't stop me 'cause I fight like a girl.
Hello. We are back. And Josh is on the board. He's trying to keep me in line, making sure I'm paying attention to all of our time. And he's doing a great job. Now, with the discontent and the danger in the world, do you out there ever worry about a terror attack in your own backyard? And what would you do if it actually happened? Our next guest is Tom Rompel. He is a talented Arizonan with an amazing background. He is from Tucson. Welcome to the show, Tom. I want you first.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you.
Pleasure to be here and an honor.
It is great to have you here. You are a great writer. The book is a page turner. So first, I want you to tell me a little bit more about your background, and then we're going to get into the book. So tell me a little bit about you.
Well, my background is very diverse. I've owned companies almost all my adult life. I got fired for more jobs than I ever quit. So at a very young age, in my mid-20s, I decided I might as well start my own business for job security.
You sound like Wes. He's an entrepreneur as well. So
what inspired me to write this book is one of the things I do. I also coach small businesses, and I'm an expert in coaching paradigm shifts, something I started developing in the late 70s, unknowing that I was doing that. And so I've besides I've owned around 10 of my own companies. I've helped grow maybe another 50 companies, different ones. But because of my expertise in paradigms, sometimes I see things, I see models, and I see things happening. I was involved in a business with my son right after Barack Hussein Obama got in. And we dealt with almost on a daily basis federal agents, all sorts of law enforcement, local, federal, Border Patrol, FBI, citizens. And so over the years of doing this, I would talk with these people, and particularly the men and women out in the field.
Yes.
Yeah, they talk.
Yes.
People come and talk to me. You know?
Yeah. Well, and at 3:30, we're going to have a Border Patrol agent talking to us. So, yes.
Excellent. So, particularly with Border Patrol, listening to what was starting to happen for them. And, it started before Obama got in. Bush didn't secure the border.
Nope.
I'm sorry. None of the Bushes did. Clinton didn't. Reagan didn't. It's outrageous.
Yes.
So in any event, and then because I live in Tucson, I've been in Tucson since 64.
Yes. So you've seen it grow up.
Well, I've seen it growing up, and I know men and women down on the border, and it's a disgrace. They're living terrorized by the cartel and what's happening coming across our border. And we're lied to by the government.
Yes, we are.
The media is complacent with it. So in any event, I've always written. I never did a complete novel. However, I started seeing something happen, and this was probably 4 years ago. A friend of mine who's a former SEAL team member had called me, wanted to come by and get a bite to eat. Great. So I threw a concept at him. And he basically said, well, why couldn't we do what the enemy's doing? You know? But I didn't want to take that context, but I started thinking about what is really happening? You know, the saying is when seconds count, the police are minutes away.
Yes.
It's true. And then when you get down on the border, they're not helping the people on the border.
Right.
They're
right.
being terrorized.
I think sometimes their hands are tied by the government.
Well, it's not the men and the women.
No, that's what I mean.
Well,
yes.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's right.
So anyway, I started seeing and I read a lot.
Yes.
And so you may have recognized some of the events in this book.
Oh yeah. And again, the book is called Citizen Warrior, the Fourth Branch, and it is a page turner, just like I said. So I mean, we kind of know what inspired you to write the book, but do you believe? We'll give a little summary without giving away the book of Citizen Warrior.
Well, it basically starts down at the border, as you know, with an elderly ranch couple that is being terrorized by the cartel. Some citizens, an event happens at a mall. One individual actually helps retired Delta Force colonel. Together they take out some terrorists. They become they're bonded together on the field of battle, so to speak. And out of that, then they discover about this elderly couple, and the elderly couple has gone to the Border Patrol. They're being ignored, and they decide enough is enough. And so they intervene, and they actually cross over to a fictitious town called San Miguel.
Yes.
Only to discover a connection between ISIS and the cartel, which I will tell you exists.
Yes.
I know it for a fact.
I agree with you,
Right.
and I think we're going to find out some of that from the Border Patrol agent in just a few minutes. So do you believe that everyday Americans, that term that Hillary Clinton doesn't like, everyday Americans, maybe she doesn't like everyday Americans according to those Podesta emails.
Are you referring to deplorables or basement dwellers?
All. But she also said she doesn't really, they said we know she hates everyday Americans. Now, I think they were talking about the term everyday Americans, but it's a good narrative. So do you think everyday Americans, citizen warriors, are a good idea? I mean, I know it seems that some people out there, and militia types are often maligned in the media and by political elites. And so do you think there is a place for the true citizen warrior?
Well, I think in the world we live in a very dangerous world, getting worse. I truly believe if Hillary gets in, we're going to lose our country as we know it. God forbid. And even with Trump getting in, there's no guarantee we're getting this thing turned back around. At least he's a possibility that I'm willing to get behind.
Yes.
So I think people need to take responsibility that this is the world we live in, and I firmly believe in learning how to defend yourself.
Yes. So you mean not just in Arizona, we are free. We have Second Amendment rights that are amazing. We can carry a firearm. Open carry. Should we so choose? But you're advocating that people should be trained and understand how to adequately use it, how to effectively use it, how to expertly use it, depending on what might come to pass.
And this whole notion that citizens are dangerous with guns in their hands. Just look at Israel.
Yeah.
You got schoolgirls armed with AR-15, M16s
That's
and
right.
everything. But no, responsible citizens are going to be safe. I do believe in training. I think it's very important.
Yes.
Because when something happens, there's a synapses response. You get tunnel vision. You get claw grip in your hands. A lot of things happen very
And some
quickly.
of that was mentioned in the book. So I think that's a great information, and I agree. I think people should get trained. I think they should feel comfortable if they're going to open carry, concealed carry. If they're going to have a firearm to protect themselves and the people they love and their property, they need to know how to use it appropriately in situations under stress. Because just going to the range and shooting is great, well and good,
It's
but
very
generally
different.
that's not going to be what happens in a true emergence situation.
You're right. And
So-
it happens very quickly.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of developing muscle memory. As I had the citizens, three of them that spent a lot of time
Yes.
learning skills.
Right, and it doesn't happen overnight. It is something that takes, weeks, months, years to actually develop, and that's why our military is so strong because that's what they do. We're coming down to our last 2 minutes, Tom. Now, I want to know what's next for you because I know you're planning something else, and where people can get this book in particular.
Well, the book is available on Amazon. You just go there, citizenwarrior.com. It's available in the Kindle ebook version or a paperback. It's also, as we speak, it's currently being adapted for a screenplay.
Wonderful. Wow.
In fact, I'm heading over to Hollywood this weekend to help further develop it. The people that are working on this are very excited about it. There's a limited group of studios and producers that deal with this kind of material.
Yeah.
However, as was pointed out by the particular individual producer that's on this, who is liberal himself, but he's all about the business end.
Yes.
He had stated that Hollywood is missing a huge segment of the market.
Yes, they are. Yes,
And
they
They're
are.
censoring it. I
So
think.
that's happening. I'm on the sequel. That will probably be released in the second half of next year.
All right. I look forward to it. Hey, this is a good book that people can give to people for Christmas. I know
Yes.
it's a little early. There are only 10 Mondays till Christmas, people.
Wow.
You can get Citizen Warrior, the fourth branch, at Amazon for Kindle or for book. I thank you, Tom, for joining us. I look forward to having you back. This is the Kelli Ward Connection. I am Dr. Kelli Ward, bringing you a bold, fresh, fearless perspective on politics in Arizona, in the United States, and around the world. So do not go away. We are moving from fiction to fact. Next segment, when a brave Border Patrol agent joins us. Stay tuned.
I'm settling. You'll never stop me. I'm a warrior. When I fall down, I get stronger. Faith is my shield. Your love is the armor.
All right, all right, all right. We are back, and yeah, I am a warrior, and I'm going to keep being a warrior for freedom, a warrior for liberty, a warrior for this country. I've got my ward warriors out there who followed through a grueling campaign and who don't want me to stop, and I don't want to see them stop either. I am joined right now by a friend of mine, a current Border Patrol agent, and I am going to conceal his identity because I fear big government retaliation against him. I'm not sure if he does or not, but I do, and I don't want to see any of that. Welcome to the show, Agent. Welcome, welcome. Are you there?
I'm here. How are you doing? That's a word.
Hey, it is great to talk to you. I'm doing great. I want to get right to it because there is a lot to talk about. First and foremost, I want to know, how is the morale within the Border Patrol, and why?
It's in the dumps. That's for sure. Very, very low. And there's several reasons for it. I don't know what the to start, we just recently all received a pay cut, so about $400 a month on average, all of us gone from our paycheck. And the way they did that, they actually changed the law. The law says if you work over 40 hours, you get compensated for that. They changed the law especially for us. So that's definitely nothing that'll raise morale.
Wow, that's
On
terrible.
top of that, and probably even more important, is the sense that what we're doing doesn't really matter. It doesn't. It's not something that is really in the interest, or something that we perceive that the big bosses in D.C. Truly want us to be doing.
Yeah, a sense of futility that you have a job to do, but that the people that are above you in the hierarchy don't really care whether you do it or not.
Exactly, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard, you know what, don't kill yourself trying to catch this group. You know that they're just going to let them go anyways, and that's the perception of a lot of agents, and it's a very there's very good reason. I just saw a report recently that said over 50% of individuals that go see an immigration judge are actually allowed to stay in the U.S. They're let go, and the highest or the Phoenix court actually has a highest number of individuals that they are allowed to stay. So if you go see the immigration judge up there, it seems like they want to allow people to stay the most. I believe second was New York and third was in Colorado.
Wow.
But Phoenix was the highest. And then when you have when you have that message come from the immigration courts, which just sends a message south. I mean, once you're let go, you're going to call your family down wherever, Central America or Mexico, wherever they may be, and it's only going to encourage more people to come over. And then that's at the local side, and then in D.C. you have the commissioners basically saying if you don't like what's going on, you can always quit, which is true, I guess. And then we hear that even recently, we have a newly appointed chief of the Border Patrol. Before that appointment was made, there was very strong rumors going around that someone who was a police chief in San Francisco, who's currently an assistant secretary in DHS on the DHS payroll, Heather Fong, was in charge, police chief of San Francisco, and advocated sanctuary cities.
Yeah.
So
I can tell you that the people that are listening to this show, I am sure, do not advocate for sanctuary cities. They know that they are terrible for our country and are against the law. And
exactly.
Also, you guys are risking your lives every day trying to stop people from coming into this country illegally, whether they are trafficking drugs or guns or people. It's a dangerous thing, and I can see why the morale would be so low if you are putting yourself into harm's way, and then some bureaucrat is just saying, "Oh, you're actually the welcome committee."
Yeah, exactly, and that's what they want to become, essentially. And speaking to your point on how dangerous it is, recently we had an agent have his arm dislocated in a fight not too far away, and other agents within, I believe, the same week got punched in the throat while trying to apprehend a group. So yeah,
wow,
there's a real. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. There might be a perception, and this might have been true in the 50s, that there's just this group of economic migrants, right? They want a better life. They just want to cross over for the harvest.
It's all for love. It's all for love.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so there's a big perception. I know, you hear the heat that Donald Trump and people get when they talk about rapists and murderers crossing the border, which is true. Has arrested many, and that's it's a reality that those people do cross very often. I mean, a large majority of them are criminal aliens, and but anyways, and obviously when you cross the border, you broke the law, right? So,
I agree wholeheartedly. We shouldn't have to wait.
On top of that, there are people with some pretty terrible rap sheets along with that crime.
But really, don't they just have to tell you, "Oh no, I'm not in a gang. Oh no, I'm not a bad guy. Oh no, I'm just coming to work," and then they pretty much are getting off scot-free?
Well, yeah. So we don't have a whole lot of investigative authority. Actually, we have really no investigative authority, and that's another issue in and of itself when it comes to terrorists that are crossing the border, which since 2003, since the creation of DHS, has actually become the key part of our mission, which is so ironic because whenever we catch a terrorist, there's no publicity about it. We should have on our daily shift activity reports, we should have, terrorists caught today, one or however many it may be. But if we do catch them, there's no applause, there's no, which obviously isn't why we do the job, but it seems like if that's our number one priority, then it's like, look, everyone, we're doing our job. We accomplished our number one goal as an agency, but it's usually tucked under the rug. Not a whole lot of people want to know about that.
Wow, so you're saying that, yes, you are capturing people from Middle Eastern countries and other places that want to cause us harm. That's being brushed under the rug, and if you capture them, there's no publicity that they're actually coming because it doesn't fit the agenda of the people at the top?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure why it doesn't get much publicity, but it has been confirmed. We've had 6 people cross near little town of Patagonia, 5 Pakistanis, 1 Afghani, all with ties to Taliban.
Wow.
We had 2 cross south of San Diego, also ties to terrorist networks. And there's been a lot of great reporting, and every once in a while someone will pick it up, but within the agency, it really isn't talked about a whole lot. And like I said, I think it's ironic since that's our number one reason for existence.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I went down to Rocky Point recently, and I drove back home, and I want to ask you about the inland checkpoints. That's what I call them. I call them inland, 40 miles, 80 miles in from the border. Are a lot of people caught there? Is it constitutional? Is it effective? Is it just for show? I mean, why do we have those? And how well do they work?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of talk about this lately. I'm sure you've seen Martha McSally has been talking about this a lot in her congressional hearings. So yeah, I'd definitely be glad to talk about that a little bit. They are constitutional. So the Immigration Nationality Act 287, I believe it's A3, gives us the authority to basically board any vehicle, vessel to check for immigration status. So it was brought to the Supreme Court in the U.S. versus Martinez-Fuerte case, and it was deemed legal. We can stop every single person, much like a DUI checkpoint, right? You have to have zero suspicion to stop every vehicle going through there. So with zero suspicion, we can stop every vehicle crossing or coming across the checkpoint. And
are they effective?
Yes, very effective. And a lot of people think of it as the backup defense for Border Patrol, which it is. It's our second line defense. For Border Patrol, what we miss at the line, we'll hopefully catch it there or around the checkpoint, but we're also back up for the port of entry. And we're seeing a huge uptick in hard narcotics, meth, heroin, cocaine, that's being caught at our checkpoints. And our canine handlers and others are doing a really great job with that. So we're backing up not only the agents on the line, we're also backing up the ports of entry and helping those guys out whether they what they missed.
Yeah.
So it is very effective. We catch a large number of people and drugs. Everyone always asks, well, who's dumb enough to come through the checkpoints if you're an illegal alien?
Yeah, you do wonder.
You would be surprised all the time. In fact, we've actually seen more people trying to get through and mislead our agents to get through because they say we're so effective around our checkpoints also because we obviously do roving patrols and stuff like that as well. So
criminals aren't always known for being the smartest people in the room. So
that is true.
Hey, agent, I am going to keep you over if that's okay. I've got a couple more questions I'd like to ask you in the next segment, but I think that we are going to have to go to a break here in the very near future. This is the Kelli Ward Connection. I'm Dr. Kelli Ward. Hey, guys, call in 602-277-5369. You can talk to a real live Border Patrol agent and ask him about what's happening on our border. Don't go away. Come on back. KFNX 1100. Hello. I know I'm interrupting the song so fast, even though I like the song, but we got a lot to talk about here. This is the final segment of the Kelli Ward Connection. I am Dr. Kelli Ward, your connection to bold, fresh, fearless political talk. Wes Alexander's here with me, and we are going to continue our discussion with a Border Patrol agent who joined me, and I am keeping his identity concealed not because he asked me to, but because I don't want anyone to retaliate against him for telling the people what's really happening. So, agent, you still there?
I am.
Hey, I want to ask you, whenever I was on the campaign trail, I went down south a lot to meet with people along the border, and I met with a lot of ranchers. Tell us how the ranchers along the border are being affected by illegal immigration and the people that are just able to come freely onto their property without any real recourse.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ranchers who have Forest Service leases and also private ranches that butt up to the international boundary. They are many of them have been threatened. They've seen their property destroyed. They've seen their livelihood damaged. They've been stolen from. That happens quite a bit. And we try to work very closely with those ranchers to make sure there's a good relationship for their protection and also so that we can do our job. So try to work very closely with them.
Yeah. And another thing that concerns me a lot is this surge of so-called unaccompanied minors that are coming across the border. I think a lot are coming into Arizona, Texas, California, of course, and it seems like that's on a course to be even bigger than the last time we had the surge of unaccompanied minors that came into the country. Tell me a little bit about your perspective on that.
So, and this kind of goes back to the messaging from our higher ups. In a sense, there are advertisements going on right now on Guatemalan airwaves on the radio, advertising, "Hey, come use us to get you to the line, and if we get you to the United States, you get your papers." And they're actually advertising that. It's big business. The cartel, you have to remember, is a business, and they'll do whatever it takes to make money. Well, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, and we already talked about the immigration courts a little bit, but we are getting these waves and waves, and these people who want to be caught. That's nothing that we've really experienced before, at least to this degree. We don't have to find these people. They're coming to find us. They're wanting to send themselves in, and they're asking for their papers immediately. So what they're doing our immigration courts, the whole system has been so overwhelmed by this that they're giving what we call notice to appear. Agents call them notice to disappear.
Right.
Yeah, very few of them actually come to the court hearing, surprisingly, right? So we will transport these individuals into the U.S., and they stay in the U.S. until their court date, and then they're supposed to show up and make a decision on whether or not they're going to be allowed to stay or not. Like I said, very few of them actually show up. Big surprise right now is when a lot of those from the first wave are supposed to be coming to courts, and not a lot of them are showing up.
Right.
But something that's even, kind of, I guess, it makes the problem a little bit worse. We're trying to treat these individuals like asylum seekers, and there's only seeking asylum is a very strict and very specific term. So the only way you can get asylum is if you're being persecuted based on your race, religion, nationality, political opinion, membership in a particular social group, or if you have a legitimate fear of torture. What these people in Central America, especially, which is mostly what these unaccompanied juveniles are, most of them are fleeing gang violence,
right?
Especially in El Salvador. So that does not count for asylum.
Right,
but
right.
We're actually sending people in to pre-screen them in these Central American countries and then transport them to the U.S. in order for them to be granted asylum.
It's appalling.
It's ridiculous.
It's appalling. You're right. It is ridiculous. We had a guest last week, Dr. Nayla Rush, and she mentioned that as well, that basically people are coming here from Central America seeking asylum, and they don't meet the criteria, but the government is just ignoring the criteria and granting it anyway, and importing people into our country when our own citizens are already struggling so much to make ends meet. Now, hold on, Agent, because I've got a call. I'm going to take JD from Mesa. JD, are you there?
Here. Hi, Dr. Ward. How are you?
Hey, JD. It's great to hear from you. What's up?
Well, first of all, I've got a mea culpa. I gave you some jazz a couple of weeks back on your radio program about not being able to pull a lever for Mr. McCain, and now I'm joining the group of people that just can't possibly vote for him after what he's pulled and all the other turncoats in the Republican Party. I'm done with them, and I cannot in good conscience vote for Mr. McCain. So, first of all, I apologize for giving you the jazz.
Hey, I can take it. If I can't take it, don't dish it out, and I like to dish it out too. So, if I'm going to dish it out, I got to take it. So I appreciate you, though, giving me a call on that.
Yes, and also great guests, plural, Mr. Rompel. I just finished a book last week, and I hope to get him on my show as well.
There you go.
He is awesome. His publicist has contacted me actually a couple of months ago, and I've been a little slow to get the book read, but whoa, what a book.
He's gonna tell you, here he is. He's gonna give you a little.
Thank you very much for your comment. I don't think this room is big enough. My head is starting to swell. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me, believe me.
Mr. Rompel, I enjoyed the book so much, and I couldn't put it down. Once I picked it up, I lost a whole night of sleep over reading it and everything
I think
else.
my husband
Really
did too.
awesome.
We were hanging out somewhere, and I was like, "Hey, let's go do this." He's like, "No, I've just got to get. He did not want to put it down. Truly,
I guess I got to read it now.
you got to read it. That's right.
Someone said that they got in a fight with their spouse because she wouldn't turn the light off.
Yeah, it's that kind of
Wouldn't
book.
go to bed.
It's
That's
that
wonderful.
kind of book.
Thank you.
I just want to say to our Border Patrol agent on the line, hang in there. We're trying to get you some help, and we love you, and we appreciate what you're trying to do for us, even though you don't get much backup from the higher-ups.
JD, that is a sentiment that I think so many people echo very, very loudly, is that the people who are putting themselves on the front line, the people who are in the Border Patrol, the people who are police officers, who are out there on the front lines really trying to protect American citizens, protect the American homeland, make sure that our liberty, our freedom are maintained, the things that we all take for granted so much in this country. It's too few and far between whenever to have people thank the people who are doing just that job. So thank you for calling. I appreciate you very much. And
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And Border Patrol agent, I thank you so much for coming. It is the end of our show, or getting close to the end of the show, and not quite. We've got a minute or two left. But time does fly. I want to thank you so much for coming, Agent. Tom Rompel, thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank
Citizen
you for
Warrior,
having me.
the fourth branch, Citizen Warrior, the fourth branch. You can find it on Amazon. And Josh, thank you for keeping me in line. Thank you for running that board. Thank you for answering those calls. You are great as usual. Wes, thank you. We didn't get to the Podesta emails, but
We will.
hey, people can join us on Twitter, right?
Oh,
Where
yes,
at?
they can.
Where at? Tell us.
Young Dems for Trump.
Yep.
They can also join us on your Twitter, Kelli Ward.
Yes, Kelli Ward
Kelli
AZ,
Ward AZ,
with Kelly with an I.
And then at Kelli Connection.
Kelli Connection. Come on, join us on there.
That is our official radio show Twitter. And I have some support from Trumpers on Twitter that will be retweeting.
Awesome.
And we'll be slamming the internet with it.
Hey, well, I thank our guests. We shed some real light on what's happening at the border and why border security is national security, and why I say never Hillary, never Hillary.
Never Hillary.
We've got to have Trump. So join us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for speaking out. Thank you for making a difference. See you here on KFNX next week, 3 p.m. on the Kelli Ward Connection. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.